I want to cover frequency and Islam, and how important it is for you as a Muslim to be spiritual and not just look at Islam like it's a guide, sorry, not a guide, like it's a rule book on how to live your life, and not apply logic to it. All right, because in the end, you should always use your logic, and you should always use your intuition, which is straight from God. Okay. If something puts you in danger mentally, physically, sexually, in any way, shape, or form, verbally, if anything puts you in danger in society, I promise you, and I really, really deeply promise you, if it's something that hurts you, okay, you should not be doing it. All right? Regardless of what anybody says, regardless of what anybody tells you, you should not be harming yourself in any way, shape, or form. Because you putting yourself in harm's way, especially you hurting yourself, you're pushing yourself away from Allah. You're pushing yourself away from God. All right? So don't be doing that. Please stop. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Okay? Whatever you think that God wants you to be doing, if it's hurting you, you're probably not supposed to be doing it, because it's actually pushing you away from Him. All right? So take that information as you wish, because I think a lot of you are not ready for this conversation. Okay, you're like doing mental gymnastics to trying to just have a good relationship with Allah. For you to have a relationship with Allah, you have to have a relationship with yourself. You can't have a relationship with yourself if you don't know who you are. The same way, you can't have a relationship with any human being around you if you don't know who the person is. The same applies to you. Just because you walk in this body and you control this body and you operate in it, just because you do all of this does not mean you know who you are. Most people are just a mold, okay? And they become whoever they become. They become molded from their childhood by everybody around them, and their experiences and traumas and things that happen to them, and places that they go, and music they listen to. They become molded by that, and they end up in a frequency. All right, there, that was a good segue. Great job, Sarah. High five. All right, so let's talk about frequency in Islam. This is very important. All right, actually, I want to. It's really interesting. I'm looking at the diagram right now. And looking at it, I'm starting to realize that, and I saw it in some other diagrams, it's levels of consciousness, but the number of them is actually, it aligns with the 7 skies and maybe 7 hells. Is it 7 hells? Hold on one second, let me check. Wow, this is actually so interesting. SubhanAllah. I think a lot of people are not ready for this, because they're mixing ideologies. Like a lot of people conflict 2 ideologies in one. You can't be doing that for you to understand what I'm about to talk about. So I'm going to stick to the universal concept, and I'm going to leave out something that Muslims especially, you should be believing in, but you don't, because you're conflicting with Western ideologies. So I don't want to get into that just yet. A lot of people are not ready for this. And if I talk about it, you're going to dismiss everything I say. So let's just stick to your level. One second. Everything in this world is frequency. Everything is vibration. Allah created the world with a sound. This is depicted in, I believe, many faiths. Surah Al-Baqarah starts with Alif Lam Mim. All right. To this day, people say that it's impossible for anybody to understand what Alif Lam means. What Alif Lam means? Alif Lam Mim means. Okay. To this day, I see people and they're like, it's usually, I'm not gonna lie, it's usually the people that like read the Quran and they're like, oh, I will never understand what any of this means. It's somebody else like, read it a long time ago, and they'll tell me what it means. Guys, Allah made the Quran for everybody, okay? Allah did not make the Quran for one person to read it and tell us what it means. It's made for all of us, okay? We can all enjoy it. I'd like to enjoy it now, please. So Alif Lam Mim, my interpretation of Alif Lam Mim See? Alif, Lam, Mim. Okay? ALM. This is alpha. This is omega. I believe Alif, Lam, Mim means alpha and omega and everything in between. The Lam. Lam, and I have different theories about this. One second. If we look back at Phoenician, if we look back at the origin of Arabic, which is Phoenician, which is actually the letters being English, alpha, the letter A, alpha, is actually, it comes from the letter, literally, alif in Phoenician, and mim is water, I believe. Second. Yeah. Mim, right here. The letter in English is, oh my god, no. I'm getting too excited. Okay. Yeah, come over here, guys. Okay, check this out. So, A, L, M. Alif, Lam, Mim, okay? Alif comes from, or A comes from Alif in Phoenician. Alif, okay? Lam is L in Phoenician. Mother forker. Lam comes from L in Phoenician, and Mim comes from, or M comes from in Phoenician, and in Arabic it's Lam. It's like this, Lam, and what the fuck did I just do? Hold on. What is this concept? 1 second. Let me try that again. One more time. Let me scratch this. I can just do it like this. There. So, there you go. Okay? There. There you go. Okay. A, L, M. And in Arabic is Alif, Lam, Mim. Okay, guys. I need everybody to like stop gaslighting me for a second. We are allowed to interpret things, right? Like we are allowed to interpret Alif, Lam, Mim, right? Alif. Maybe this will start a discussion in my comments. Okay. Oh, so much better. All right. For the love of God, please, like, can we just stop, I don't know. I don't want to get too, like, upset about this. But, like, my entire, like, childhood, like, right now, anytime I ask questions about the Quran, people are like, you know, only Allah understands, we'll never understand. Allah is, like, Allah created the Quran for us to interpret. Why is it that we're allowed to like understand everything and why is it we're allowed to like read it but we can't use our heads as to what it means? So maybe we can all try to crack Alif Lam Mim together, because I even worked on this, by the way, with people that are not Muslims, like people that like numerology. I had a friend, Sean, shout out, Sean, worked on this with me, Alif Lam Mim, and attempted to decipher it using numerology, which is really cool. And I had a non-Muslim do that, like somebody that doesn't call themselves Muslim. I had him do that. But whenever I ask Muslims about it, they don't care. Like, I try to talk to Muslims, like people that, like, I had friends that like, they call themselves Muslims, and they don't even try. And it makes me wonder, like, it really makes me wonder, like where are people's priorities at? Let's go. So, English, the language, the Phoenician language, it originated from Canaan, and it was it emerged around 1700 BCE. I don't know a lot about history, so if anybody wants to talk about this, by all means, please do. Please educate me on this, because I only just started. I am in love with languages. I'm in love with history now, and I don't get a lot of opportunities to learn in a fun way. I don't like to sit around and like read. I like to learn like in other ways personally. I like to learn through experience, okay, so don't judge me. But basically, Alif means ox. It also means alpha. So Alif is the beginning, and in Phoenician, the actual shape of the letter, which is like A, it came from An ox. See, it's an ox. It's an ox's head with like the horns. This is ox. This is alpha. Okay? Lamb is the stick they used to use to prod animals. Prod cattle. Yeah, a cattle staff / goat. It's a cattle staff. Lamb is a cattle staff. Okay? They used to use it to like herd animals. And mim means water. Do you see the shape? It's like a wave. Mim means water. Alright? This is what alif lam mim means. I almost said means. Memes. This is how I break down alif lam mim. I see it as alpha, the beginning, omega, the end, and everything in between, lam. Okay? This is absolutely the worst place to put the microphone, but yeah, I just wanted to add that lam in Greek is lambda, which is a symbol for scale and balance, and that adds even more to the theory. It's really interesting. So like ox, cattle goat, or like cattle staff, and water flow. There's like guys, we could like actually like talk about this. We could like interpret things, right? It's allowed, it's legal, halal, adi, it's okay. Yeah, this is just like an off-topic thing. So this brings me back to frequency in Islam. In alif lam mim, there is the two frequencies. Alif, alpha. Okay, this is nothing. I believe alpha is 0. It's like the lowest, and omega is the highest consciousness. Lowest and highest, and everything in between. Lam. Okay. This is just my starter to show that these things exist. Okay, and it's not shirk. Okay. If anybody wants to come at me saying this stuff is shirk, then you're fucking weird. I'll be right back. Alright, back to it. Everything operates on frequency and vibration. Think about the amount of times in the Quran when Allah says that there will be certain sounds. Certain sounds will happen and then an event will take place. This is for a reason, because everything is sound. That's how everything exists. No, we'll get there. I was going to talk about music, but let me just start drawing. So the lowest frequency, and I don't know. This is my first time ever conceptualizing this, so I'm learning as I go. Okay, I'm not a fucking professional, but I just need to put this in words. Okay, the lowest frequency is alpha, I believe. Okay, this is what we say is hell. Actually, let's make that. No, it's fine. Okay. I was gonna say, let me make that a little shorter, a little smaller. Alif, mim, lam. Okay, alif, lam, mim. That's my conceptualization of it. Nobody come at me. Okay, that's how I understand things. Right? Middle frequencies, mim. Alif, lam, mim. That's what Allah says in first ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah. Okay? These are the frequencies that we live in. Okay? This is it. Everything you see, this is all physical. This is just an illusion. Alright? This is an illusion. Everything is actually frequency. It's sound. Alright? Sound and color. Right here is why Allah says, watch what you listen to. Okay? Don't listen to idle talk. And I say this because I am, I am an example in my life. I look at it as an example of what happens when someone listens to the wrong music. Okay? Lower frequency music. This triangle is really pissing me off. Why does it look like this? Hold on. Close enough. Okay? It's something like that. Anyway, I can live around and sit in regret, but here's what happened with me when I was younger. This is why music is important. When I was younger, my dad was insistent that music is haram. Haram, 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 haram. Everything is haram, okay? And he insisted that we're not allowed to listen to music. And obviously, when you tell that to a kid, especially like we're kids, like guys, like can we just like relax on the music thing? Like just check this out. Listen to this. When you're a kid and you grow up like angry, you grow up really pissed off, you're probably gonna listen to heavy metal, all right? Heavy metal is the best way to keep you in the alpha frequency, all right? It's very, very, very low hertz. Like it's very, very low. I listened to a lot of heavy metal, specifically a band that literally told me to worship my ego. I used to say worship Satan. People get really pissed off by that. I specifically listened to a band that sounded really good. Their lyrics were total ass. And I did it as a child, and I barely understood English. And I didn't have experience to understand what the lead singer was singing about. As a child, I did a lot of idol listening, as the Quran says. Idol listening is haram. Why is it haram? Because it's hurtful to you. Okay? Not because Allah is going to put you in hell for listening to like bad music. It's not that. It's that you put yourself in hell. And guess what? I lived hell because I listened to someone that was literally telling me to live in hell, and their symbolism was literally hell. Literally, look at their fucking album covers. Check it out. Literally, check it out. The band is called Disturbed. All right? Look at their symbolism. Look at everything on their album covers. Oh my god, I'm actually starting to understand what this is all about. Okay, cool. See, I'm learning as I go too, guys. This is nice. All right. This is hell. This is the lowest state of consciousness. For people that don't actually make the they don't materialize hell. I don't materialize hell. I'll tell you why. All right, I'm sure it is a material place, like if Allah wants it to be. I don't claim it. I'm not going to claim it. If I sit around and worry about being in hell down here 24/7, guess where I'm going to be in life? I'm going to be manifesting living here. And guess what happened to me my entire life? I lived here my entire life. I mean, literally everything up until now. Since I hit puberty up until now, I was just constantly worrying about hell. I'm going to go to hell. I'm going to be hell. I am in hell. Eventually, I was literally convinced I was in hell. And guess what? I lived hell. Okay? I was down here. I refuse to claim it anymore. And I'll tell you why. Because other people are living in hell against their will. I did it to myself, all right? I chose it. I consciously chose to stay down here. All right? Until I saw other people's lives in Gaza and Sudan. And I refuse to live here anymore. And you should too. If you're Muslim, if you call yourself Muslim and you say you submit to God, you should say no. I don't want to be down here. And this is everybody's comfort zone. This is really ugly, guys. How do I fix this? Ew. I think I just make it longer, right? Fuck. Oh. Did that make it worse? Is this better? Ew! Whatever. I'll try to ignore it. This is everybody's comfort zone. Everybody comfortably stays in the alpha. All right? Now, what is hell? What is alpha? Guys, let's set aside our fear of like going to hell in the afterlife, because that doesn't matter right now. I'll tell you why. All right? If you so constantly worry about going to hell, you are literally claiming it. You are literally living here, and you are going to be disregarding people that don't have a choice to worry about going to hell or not. Okay? All right? They don't have that. So what does that make you? That probably makes you very deserving of here. Whether you say your shahada every single day, all right? You as a Muslim, if you disregard people that literally like are forced to live here, aka they don't have access to basic necessities, they are being abused, they are being oppressed, they are being unalived in the name of Allah, all these things. If you are, as a Muslim, disregarding these people, okay, you are living here too. Except you consciously every day wake up, you get out of bed, and you choose to be in here. They don't have that choice. They are forced to be down here. So have some shame, okay? And start talking about it, right? So what keeps people down here? Let's talk about that. I'm going to start with... 1 second. what makes people live in hell in this life? Number one, this is completely by choice. Talking about this completely by choice, guys. Okay? Shame. Shame. Okay? People are in the lowest frequency because they live in shame. Okay? Okay, next. Guilt. This can come in any way, shape, or form. Shame is something that you feel when you do something wrong and you feel ashamed because of other people. It's not that you feel ashamed of Allah and God and the universe. It's not that you feel ashamed because you're hurting yourself and people know about it and God knows about it. That's the only thing that matters. The thing is that God doesn't judge you the way you think He judges you. God is not a human being. You cannot materialize God with a brain. You can't do that. God does not have a brain like us. It's not physical, all right? God sees everything from the beginning, from the alpha to the end, to the omega, all right? God sees everything, all of it. There's no concept of time for Allah. It's everything all at once and nothing at the same time, all right? All of it. You living in shame is kufr, okay? You sitting here and thinking you're doing the right thing for sitting in here and being powerless and completely disregarding people that are forced to live in hell. This is haram. This is hurtful to you, okay? God does not want this for you. Next is guilt. Guilt comes from, I'm going to say, guilt comes in different ways. Guilt can come from you sinning, doing sins, all right? Sinning as in doing akhta, you know, things that are wrong. And they're wrong for you, okay? I'm going to be talking about things that people do to hurt themselves, all right? A lot of people live in guilt because they hurt someone. The same people don't usually feel any guilt for hurting themselves, and that's what keeps them down here. It's because they're constantly crying about hurting mommy, hurting daddy, hurting grandma, grandpa, their sister, their brother, their uncle, their aunt, this person, that person, who gives a fuck, okay? The reason why you are hurting people is because you are hurting yourself first. You would not be hurting anybody and you would not be feeling any guilt if you just sit and realize that it's okay. It's okay, khalas, adi, it's fine. If you are in pain, it's not your fault. It's not your parents' fault. It's nobody's fault. It just so happened that things are this way, but if you are aware of it, it's up to you to change it, all right? You feel guilty about things that you do with yourself, like haram things, like you drink, you don't, I was going to say don't pray, but I don't believe prayer is the way you think it is either. We'll get there another time. Like you drink, you hurt yourself, like physically, mentally, and including, by the way, including being in a toxic relationship, abusive relationship, even if it's halal, even if it's like marriage with like a piece of paper that says is halal, it's not. If it's hurting you, it's not halal, buddy. Like it's not good anymore. You're good. You're just being destructive at that point. These things, the only reason people feel guilty about it is not because they're hurting themselves. It's because other people see them. So what happens when people are fearful of, and they're guilty about the things they're doing that hurts themselves, things that are haram, because of other people, not because of God, because Allah sees all. They end up doing it behind their backs. They end up doing it in private. All right? So you have these people that walk around and they pretend that they're such great people and they don't do anything wrong. They're like, oh my God, they're like fucking angels. And then they go home and they abuse their wives, they abuse their kids, they abuse themselves with literally anything, all right? They're just completely abusive. They're complete motherfuckers. And your facade is not going to hold up for much long, okay? Wait until you're 80 years old. No, wait until you're 60, all right? Like, you just let me save you the fucking trouble. You're going to be insane. You're going to be insane and everybody's going to hate you. Nobody's going to be around you. You're not going to be able to talk to anybody. All right. So figure that shit out now. If you're young, figure it out. If you're old, like you see this, figure it out. Like, may God deal with you, bro. Like, listen up. Apathy. This. You don't give a shit about what happens to other people. As a Muslim, you're supposed to take care of the orphan. You're supposed to feed the poor. You're supposed to take care of each other. This doesn't mean just dropping a couple bucks like a donation center and walking away and just ignoring people in your fucking way. This means your family members. Be empathetic to your family members. Be empathetic to your neighbors. Look around. Look around. Do you see homeless people? Take care of them. Go up to them. Talk to them. Do something. Do something. Okay? But you can't. Why? Because you live in fear. There. Boom. You live here. This keeps you in hell. These are the reason why a lot of people will be going to hell. Except for shuhada. Shuhada, or people that are martyrs, they are forced to live here. The people that are forced to live in oppression and forced to live in this state, they're the ones that Allah excuses because they never had a chance to use their free will or their autonomy. Okay? So if you think you're doing anybody a favor by forcing yourself to live in guilt, shame, guilt, apathy, and fear, if you think you're doing anybody a favor by consciously forcing yourself to live in this state and be fucking miserable and not do anything with the blessings and the power that Allah gave you, you have power, guys. You have power. Right? You have a lot of power. You have a lot more power than you think you do. When you pray and you're living in this state, when you're living down here in hell, and you're praying and you're praying for Allah to help you, for Allah to help Gaza, Allah to help Sudan, Allah actually does. He puts things in your way, right in front of your face, for you to make a difference, but you don't take it. You could have the solution right in front of you, and you'll walk right around it. All right? So let's start being a little more mindful to the situation that we put ourselves in, force ourselves to stay in. Okay? After anybody sees this video, you have no more excuses. All right? You're done. Khalas. Oh, and grief. I forgot about grief. Sorry. Grief. Of course. This Lord? Yeah. Grief and fear. All right. That's really big. Sorry, I forgot to cover grief. Let me just cover grief really quickly. Grief, mourning, relationship breakups, feeling lonely, constantly feeling at loss, not being grateful. These things are... grief keeps you down here too. You want to know what I grieved for most of my life? Since I moved, I moved out when I was 18. I grieved my parents because I never had a relationship. At that time, I never had a relationship with my parents. Now I do. But at that time, from when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, I just grieved my parents while they were alive. I just grieved all the time. I was crying all the time. I literally felt like I was living in hell. Oh, I'm missing my mom. I just felt like my parents died. I felt like they were gone. And I always lived here. And I lived... here. And here. And here. Okay? I can't say I was really apathetic. To a great, the grand scheme of things. Actually, yeah, I was here too. Fuck yeah, what am I saying? Of course, I didn't fucking feel for anybody. I didn't even know about shit that was going on in the world at that time. Now I am, thank God. Alright. These states right here, shame, guilt, apathy, grief, and fear, are what keep you living in the alpha, which is hell. Do you want to constantly stay in your comfort zone as Muslims, which is here? Or do you want to actually listen to Allah when He gives you the signs, every sign, to get the hell out? Literally get the hell out, get it out of your system, guys. Here are signs that you could get on your way that tell you that you are not meant to be where you are. Number one is anxiety. You are constantly living in anxiety. What is anxiety? It is accumulated fear. Okay? When you're a kid, you experience some sort of fear, maybe from mommy or daddy, okay? Then suddenly, you experience a fear outside of the house. Somebody beats you up, robs you, something. You don't talk about these things. You don't get to talk about them. You get like a fear on top of a fear, okay? And in school, your teacher hits you. Okay, another fear. Okay, your parents hit you when you go home because you have low grades. Another fear. Okay, and another fear and another fear. Suddenly, next thing you know, you're a grown-ass man or a grown-ass woman, and you're like constantly shaking, shivering, on the lookout, and you're like scared of like something, you don't even know what. It becomes anxiety, okay? You don't remember what the hell you're so fearful of. That's what your anxiety becomes. That's what becomes your anxiety. It's accumulated fear, unresolved fears, and you never had a chance to work through them. Okay, you already like got thrown out of school into work, and you have to make money, you have to survive. You're living in survival mode on anxiety. You end up on pills for anxiety. Suddenly you turn like 7 years old. You die. Khalas. No, that was your life. Congratulations. Okay. Hell. Anxiety. You're living in hell, right? And you know how it is. Guess what, guys? I used to have hella depression. Depression? Grief. I had all this accumulated grief. I had all this accumulated guilt, all this shame, all of this. I had all the fucking diagnoses, alright? All of it now, I see it as just signs. My body is struggling, okay? I'm struggling to get out of bed. Oh no, I don't even struggle to get out of bed anymore, I'm not gonna lie. I'm struggling with something, alright? I'm going to listen to my body, I'm going to give it what it needs. I'm going to assess the situation around me, what is going on. Maybe I should write like a model, like what you should do when you feel like things in your body. Guys, I used to be the one that struggled the most with mental disorders. Like I used to be it. I graduated all of them, okay? I got all of them, okay? What did it turn out to be? Fucking superpowers, alright? All of it, I just see it more positively. Okay, I'm not struggling with shit. I'm excelling in it, actually. I'm excelling in all that. I love myself so fucking much, and nothing's gonna faze me at this point. If I'm gonna be in any situation where somebody makes me feel any fear, grief, apathy, guilt, shame, I'm getting the fuck out of there. Why would I put myself through that? If I see somebody else being forced in a situation where they put themselves in a situation where they're feeling fear, grief, apathy, guilt, shame, literally living in hell, I'm going to tell them, get the fuck out. I'm gonna do the same for myself. I'm not forced to be there. Why should I be there? What, for a couple bucks? Fuck that. Alright, next. For you to get out of this, what do you need to do? You have to remember, Allah named us insan for a reason, right? Allah named human beings insan. Insan means to forget. We forget who we are, right? We forget everything all the time. We forget Allah. We forget. All we have to do is remembrance. We have to constantly remember, okay? That's how you keep yourself. That's how you first get yourself out of here, step by step, okay? Maybe I should write that over here. Number one, remember. I'm just freestyling this right now. I never thought about this. For you to get out of hell, the alpha, which is funny that alpha men call themselves alpha. They're literally men from hell. Alpha men are from hell, bro. Alright. For you to get out of hell, you have to remember who you are, alright? Who were you when you were a kid? Who were you? Because let me tell you, it wasn't who you are now. If you did not have any influence of your parents, of your neighbors, of your friends, you didn't have influence of nothing. You just had you and Allah. Who would you have been? What would you have done? You would have probably followed your gut instinct, your intuition. You would have followed Allah's commands naturally, and you ended up doing what you felt like doing based on who you are. Okay, just remember. For me, it was, like I said, problem solving. That was my whole thing. I was observing everything in my family, and I just wanted to problem solve. That became my biggest downfall, was me trying to solve issues in my family without the without the either experience or the power and tools. It just didn't work. Okay, just remember who you are, guys. Remember who you are before you ended up in school, before you ended up like thinking that you need to do what you need to be doing. Some people did, they actually chose what their passions are, pursue their passions. Some people didn't, and they were forced to go and do what kept them above water. Okay, kept them afloat. But it's not worth it, okay? It's not worth it, especially if you don't have kids or you're not forced to like, live like that. It's not worth it, okay? Just, life is too short. It's too short, okay? Just remember what made you passionate, okay? Number two. Oh, no, sorry. I forgot what the first step of everything is. What? Be honest. Number one is be honest with yourself. I forgot. Sorry, that was my number one rule. Always be honest with yourself. Okay? Number one, be honest with yourself. Are you happy? Are you doing okay? Are you actually struggling? Or are you actually like oppressed? Or are you just oppressing yourself? Are you struggling? Are you privileged? Let's talk about privilege for a second. I see a lot of victimhood, victim mentality. Actually, I grew up with this girl that would just constantly walk around and like point at people and be like, "Oh my God, you're so privileged, you're so privileged, you're so privileged." Meanwhile, I was her friend that was struggling to eat. Okay, I was struggling to survive. And she liked that. Yeah, bitch, I'm talking about you, Emmy. Hey, what's up, Emmy? Remember you always had a job, like you always worked, you always had money, you always had like a safe place to live, and you couldn't even feed me 2 eggs. But then you walked around pointing at other people and talking about their privilege in society when you couldn't. You lost your shit over 2 eggs at your place. You told me I could crack 1. I cracked 2 eggs, and that became a huge fight between us. Funny is that I have this like weird pattern of people fighting me over eggs and their birthdays. It's like a weird ongoing pattern in my life where eggs become a problem and birthdays become a problem. I end up not being friends with people over that. Okay? Like, I'm patient over the eggs thing, but the birthday thing, you can take your birthday and go fuck yourself. Okay? The amount of friends like that, like, not even like the amount of people that just like dropped out of my life over that. Y'all have issues. Okay. Okay. Privilege is always going to be proportionate. Okay? Somebody is always going to have more privilege than the other person, even if they have nothing. And I'll prove it to you. In Gaza, there's people, everybody there is suffering. Everybody there is suffering. There's people that are suffering a little less than others. Some person could walk around with a loaf of bread, okay? And the other person does not have that loaf of bread, and they wish that they have that loaf of bread. That's privilege right there. Right there. There's the manifestation of privilege. One person has that loaf of bread, the other person doesn't. One person is missing a limb and the other person isn't, and they wish they're not missing that limb. Think of that on any scale, all right? Any scale. And they're still all taking care of each other. Even though they're all like this is really hard to talk about. Even though I don't see any of them pointing at each other and like blaming them for whatever they have. Okay? It's just situational, it's just luck of the draw. In privileged countries where everybody's fucking privileged, and you know, like some people like cry, like that girl I just mentioned, she literally lived in a fucking apartment. Okay, she had a good paying job. She traveled. She like did everything she wants in her life, and she pointed at people who had more than she did, and she was like, "Oh, you're the reason that the world is shit," or like, "I can't do this or do that." No, like, girl, shut the fuck up. Like, you can actually, the same can be said about you. Like, I was literally right next to you and I had nothing. Literally had nothing. Didn't even have a bed. Okay? This shit is pathetic, and you need to grow the fuck up. So the way I see it is that everybody has privilege more than the other. It's just a matter of you being grateful for what you have and appreciative. Okay? If you are going to point at other people and think that they have it better than you, everything is proportionate. If you were literally a millionaire with that shit-ass mentality of you thinking that, somebody else is more privileged than you, even if you're a millionaire, you're going to look at a billionaire and be like, oh, that person is more privileged than I am. Boo-hoo. Okay? It's just a state of mind. So, okay? Be honest with yourself. Are you really like struggling that much? Remember, who are you? Okay. 3, now that we talked about privilege, talk about gratitude. Be grateful. That is the biggest thank you to the universe. Be grateful, literally for anything. Literally for anything. I told you that I was, the reason why I got out of hell over here, the reason why I got out of that is because I started being grateful for breathing through my nose. Because I did not even know what a privilege it was to breathe through my nose. And I was crying about it for 3 fucking years and nobody knew what the hell I was on about. Nobody fucking knew. I had one person actually, like, he saw like how much I was struggling. He gave me like a nose massage and like it opened my airways for like a second. Best day of my fucking life. All right. So I became very grateful for breathing through my nose, and that got me out of hell. I started opening my eyes and seeing everything around me. I was like, oh wow, I have a TV. Wow, I have a phone. I have a bed. Look at, I made it. I literally made it. And I had literally like the bare minimum, which is, basic necessities. SubhanAllah. That got me, arguably to a lot better place in life mentally. Maybe I still have the same amount that I did back then. But the only difference is that I am not living in fear, not living in grief, apathy, guilt, or shame. I had to stop. I had to snap out of those. And for me to get out of that, I noticed that the biggest thing that kept me living in guilt and shame, You guys ready for this? It's the hijab. It's the hijab. It's the need to appear Muslim to everybody else. See, I was forced to wear hijab when I was younger. As soon as I got my puberty, as soon as my parents found out that I had my puberty, because I knew that they were going to do that to me. And see, I was already struggling. I was already struggling socially when I was in school. So when I got my period, I actually hid it from my parents for 1 year. And when they found out about it, because my family was like that. I'm not out here to bring down any person in my family. I love all of you. بحبكم قد الدنيا, okay? We all have our beef. But, let's just say it how it is. I was forced to wear the hijab. And as soon as they found out that I had my period. And when that happened, guess nobody explained to me why I'm wearing the hijab. I was just forced to wear it. It was like a punishment for getting my puberty. All right. Nobody explained that shit to me. And so obviously, as a child, I did not understand what the fuck I was wearing it for. I thought it was just a thing. And so as soon as I got my puberty, like even before 1 year before I wore the hijab, as soon as I got it, I made it my life mission to run away. I was like, the only way, because I was told by my family, for me to show my hair, I have to get a husband. I have to have a husband. For me to go outside, I have to have a husband. For me to do this, I have to have a husband. For me to do that, I have to have a husband. Husband. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to. Like, I don't, what the fuck? And so I just left. I was like, bye. And to be honest, I don't think anybody noticed that I fucking left. And then I was not allowed to come back home because I did not wear the hijab anymore. And it was really traumatizing. It actually it threw me back. It threw me back a lot because that was my first month or 2 months in university. It was the second month of university, and I was really struggling a lot, with everything, like socially, mentally, financially, emotionally. I was struggling in every area in my fucking life, physically, all of it, and I was here. Why? Because I lived in shame. Okay, I was such a horrible Muslim, guys. I was such a horrible Muslim. Yeah, I was such a horrible Muslim. I lived in so much shame. I was such a horrible Muslim because I lived in guilt. I was feeling so guilty, so shameful, apathetic, did not care about whatever is going on around the world because I was living in survival mode. This over here, this is survival. This over here is survival mode. And I was consciously choosing to live in it. Okay? I did not know what was going on, and nobody explained this to me. But if you are struggling a lot, especially as somebody that comes from the Middle East or any those kinds of cultures, if you're living here, you can easily get out of it. I'll tell you how. Just stop giving a flying fuck what anybody thinks about you. That's literally it. It has no effect on you. Realistically, I was not being supported by anybody. I was not being supported financially. I was not being supported emotionally, mentally, nothing. I had nothing. I literally had nothing given to me by anybody. So I had to freestyle my way. So I was being forced to live here. Maybe I wasn't consciously living in it. I was just being harassed into living here by Muslims. All right? Because me showing my hair, me showing my skin was so shameful. I was forced to feel guilty about it constantly. And for me to be living in survival mode, I was apathetic. I couldn't relate to whatever anybody else was going through. I don't know what the fuck y'all are crying about. I don't know what other people are struggling with. Could not relate because I was already down here. I was literally already eating shit. So this is why I sympathize with people. When I was crying about Gaza and Sudan, I see people, they're like, oh, what am I supposed to do about it? I get you. Yeah, because you're eating shit too, and you don't understand. People can only sympathize with others based on their level of perception. How much pain have you felt are you out of it for you to understand what others are going through? So when you go and tell people that have never experienced even the slightest bit of pain in their life, they've always lived in the same, especially when it's Westerners, they've always lived in the same level. I don't know how to say. My nose is runny. When you try to tell somebody that's lived a fairly privileged life. Like, let's say they had their basic necessities met, you know, they lived a regular life, they've never been hurt, they've never like been, they just live in complete apathy. And you tell them, oh, there's people getting blown up, there's people getting unalived, there's people like this is happening, that's happening to these people. They're not going to understand. It's like it's like telling somebody, I just got punched in the face, and that person has never been punched in the face, or they've never had anybody hurt them in any way. They're not going to understand what it's like. They're going to think of it as tea. They're like, oh my God, that's crazy. That's really cool. It's not. It's really not. And they're not going to relate. They're not going to understand. So yeah, I was apathetic. Because I never like experienced, I was going through experiences at that time. I didn't understand anything. And at that time, I didn't know what was going on either in like other countries. Actually, the first trigger I had to wake up from this, but I didn't know how to maneuver it, was seeing the Christchurch shooter in New Zealand. My friend sent me a video laughing. My friend sent me a video and he was like, ha ha ha, watch this. And it was a live stream of the Christchurch shooter. And it was my first time seeing anybody get shot in real life. Like a real life person like being like unalived. And I went into a complete state of shock for 2 days straight. I could not stop crying. At first I was screaming and I couldn't stop crying. And that was my first time seeing anybody like back to hell. It was really nice living in here, guys. It was really nice. What a great experience. And I was grieving myself too. I didn't realize that the whole time I was grieving other people, is that I was grieving myself. You know, when you go through breakups and you go through relationships and you're grieving the breakup, like the person died or something. Sure, you're grieving them, but you're actually grieving that part of yourself that you feel is missing. And you're trying to find it in other people. I keep like looking at the wrong part of the camera. Let me flip this around again. Fuck. Sorry, guys. All right. That's better. There's a camera over there now. When I talk into the phone, I like to look at myself like I'm talking to a person, and I actually do enjoy talking to myself because this is a thing that I wanted somebody to say to me, and I enjoy saying it to myself. It's like a remembrance thing. Suck, girl. And overall, I was forced to live in fear by so-called Muslims, who aren't actually Muslims, by the way. I don't believe in the whole, oh, you can't do takfir on anybody. I can clearly tell when somebody's Muslim and when they're not. I'm not fucking stupid, okay? I can do it. I'm allowed, okay? I'm using logic here. If I see somebody, like guys, Bashar al-Assad claims that he's Muslim. Alright, Bashar al-Assad. Are you seriously gonna like let that guy like claim that he's Muslim? I don't fucking think so. Let's use our brains a little bit, alright? I was forced to live in fear. And like I said, what got me to snap out of it is being honest with myself. Okay? I started to face my struggles. I was like, I struggle with X, Y, and Z. Okay? And I only started noticing that because I was trying so hard to be in a relationship, and everybody that I was meeting was struggling with X, Y, and Z, and I was judgmental towards them. Which is really ironic, right? It's ironic. It's really ironic to be judging somebody else based on like the things that I was struggling with. But if you apply that to the real world, that's just how you can tell that somebody is struggling with something, is because they have it inside of them and they are curious about it. And there's different ways to express your curiosity about something. It's either loving it or hating it. And yeah, so the things that I hated about myself, I hated about other people. And so I started being honest with myself. What am I struggling with? Okay. What is keeping me in hell? What is keeping me in the omega, in the aleph? Sorry. What is keeping me in the alpha? What is keeping me in the aleph? What is keeping me in hell? I talked about it with myself. I faced it with myself I completely rid of the shame and the guilt and the fear that I had about it. It's not my fault I was struggling with it, alright? But it is my fault if I continue to struggle with it knowing that I have it, alright? At some point you have to grow up and realize, alright, whatever, I struggle with these things, it's fine. But what am I going to do about it? And most people don't do shit about it. So, guys, the reason why the things are happening to others, like people are being forced to live in hell, is because you as a person that is able to do something about other people's oppression, is you're not doing anything about it yourself. You are forcing yourself to live in hell. Other people are not they're not forcing themselves. They would rather be in your shoes. They see the potential in your place. If they know about your lives, you should feel ashamed for this. They know about your lives. They know that you have all the opportunity to do everything about what they're going through, but you don't. All right? Because I have to go to work. Alright, well, that sucks that the people are getting like unalived over there, but you know, let's all go back to our hourly job. I remembered who I was. You guys, I completely remember I said I built up this fake person that everybody does it. Okay, not mostly everybody. A lot of people don't know who they actually are because they end up getting molded by everything around them, their experiences, you know, the things that their parents, their family members, whatever, things that they want to like please in other people. So they end up becoming this person. I became a person. And honestly, I was shaped by complete shit. Like I was trying to fit in literal shit. All right. So when I remembered who I was, which is a fucking badass, like I'm a baddie, okay? I'm a baddie, guys. Okay. I remembered that part. Suddenly, boom. When I became like grateful and everything, I got out of here. And what did I move into? I transitioned into desire. Okay? Stress. Yes. Yes. Anger. I started wanting more. Finally. I started desiring. And when you're desiring more and you're still in a lower state of consciousness, lower frequency, most likely you're not going to get it. Started getting stressed out. I'm like, what the fuck happened? What the hell happened these past years? What is this situation that I'm in right now? Okay? I started getting really angry. Really fucking angry. This shit is so real. I'm like, this is my first time actually going through this one by one. And I'm actually like looking back at like the everything that I was going through. I started getting really pissed off. I started pointing fingers. The anger turned into blame, actually. I want to talk about that. It turned into me pointing fingers and being like, you did this to me! You did this, you did this, you did this, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, moved on from that, thank God. I completely lacked, like, any worth, alright? Let me fix this really quickly because it's getting, like, I'm writing way too big. And shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear. Let me fix this. Shame, guilt, apathy. Grief. Fear. Right, and then what do I do? Okay, what desire? Okay, yes, I desire. And actually desire. Okay, stress. I think this was a transition into wanting more. When I was down here, I had arguably no self-worth. Like forcing it in my head. Why? Because especially when you're somebody that is attractive or you're smart or you get things that are other people that have to work for. When you have that naturally, you are forced to push yourself down and belittle yourself to make everybody else feel comfortable. And that's exactly what I was forced to do. So while I love myself and I knew when I was younger, I knew like I was a really cool person, I had to force myself to feel like I was a piece of shit for me to get other people to like me. And like I said earlier, is when I was this person that literally became a piece of shit, I feel like that's when I had a lot of people surrounding me, and I don't see any of them around me right now when I don't believe it anymore. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Anger. Okay, so then that brings me to pride. I started struggling with pride. Okay. This can be good or bad, right? It can be good or bad. If you become too proud, then it becomes I need to get water. Pause. I had to remember who I was when I was younger and all my achievements. All of my achievements were in a box hidden like deep inside like my closet. Everything I did. All I remembered was that I constantly achieved and I always did my best. I always did my best, and none of my achievements were brought to light because when you're a woman, you can do literally everything and it just gets brushed over. It's just something normal for the girls to do. But like how I felt was that like the guys in the family, the boys in the family could do the bare minimum and they get all the claps for it. Okay, it gets like hung up on the wall. They could draw something, it gets hung up on the wall. I could have literally like solved like world peace at that time when I was younger, and it would have been brushed over. So because I did not get any validation from my parents, I excelled a lot, and I brushed over it myself, and I never talked about it. I just did things. I did really cool things, and I didn't talk about it. And I see that in a lot of kids, and I try, or people in general, and I try to like enforce that, and I try to clap for them, and I would cheer them on and be like, oh my god, I'm so proud of you, you're doing such a great job. But they don't understand either, because they're not there yet. All right, but I got there, thank God. So I started getting pride. I started struggling with this, and I was like, I did this and I did this, I was getting really pissed off too. So then I transitioned into, wow, the next part. Wow, this is actually making so much sense. Was courage. I started feeling, because I got out of shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, living in fear, and then I got out of desire and stress and anger and pride. I started getting courage to be myself. I started being myself, okay? I did not associate immodesty with myself, okay? I don't think any part of myself is immodest. You wanna know why? I never went out of my way to sexualize myself, ever. Okay, other people sexualized me. Other people objectified me. Since I got my puberty, my whole life changed. I did not change my life. The people who had power over me when I was younger, they did. They're the ones that changed my life. I did not see anything immodest or sexual or anything, nothing about myself until people put that thoughts in my head. So I started becoming courageous to be myself and express myself how I am. All right, not as somebody that wants to please anybody else. Let it be Muslims, non-Muslims, Westerners, non-Westerners, anybody. I did not want to please anybody. I just started being myself. I started being courageous to try new things. And this moved me into neutrality. Right? I became neutral. I started being myself. I was very strong to do that. I embraced the cringe. I gave it like the biggest, fattest hug and the kiss. And I became really happy, and that made me no longer angry. I'm not angry anymore. Not prideful anymore. I'm just neutral, right? Sometimes I find myself like falling back. You can fluctuate. You can literally fluctuate. I think the willingness is a willingness to help. I think that's what it is. I think it's it's literally willingness. It's just feeling like I can and I will. Oh, yep, I will. I will. This part was when I sat down and I told the people that I love, hey, I am this person. You can't stop me from being this person. This is just who I am. I'm not going to live for you. I would love it if you support me. Please support me. And they did. It was really nice. And this is how I started voicing my opinions. It started with me, if you could check out my art account, it started with me having a little breakdown. I was really upset. And instead of losing my head, I went and recorded a video where I was painting and I was just crying and like really, really, really angrily speaking. It was my first time in my life ever talking about these things out loud. And it felt so freeing. And then I went and posted it. And then I did it again and again. And then I felt comfortable enough to put my face in the videos. I went and I watched that video, the Ali Dawa video. And it really, really pissed me off. All right? So I went and recorded my reaction to it. Me doing that freed me. I was free. I felt very self-conscious about how I look for a long time. I still do. I think we all do. Okay. But I know that material is just temporary. It's just nothing. Everything is about frequency. All right. So I don't necessarily feel like that self-conscious enough to change anything about my body. I want to be healthy. That's for sure. I'm starting to feel like I'm losing a bit of health. Respectfully, and thank God, I say thank God for this. I never had to go through feeling self-conscious enough to change anything about me, about my face and my body, because I love myself. I think I am beautiful. I think I am sexy. I think I'm so fucking cool and attractive and I'm funny. And while some people may find me cringe and some people may find me ugly, to each their own, guys. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And I'm my treasure. Alright, so you can't really change that about me. But I've seen what happens when people feel self-conscious about the way they look and they want to change that. They change it for the wrong reasons. you can change the way you look. It's just you have to understand that it will change your life completely, and you got to be ready for that. There's the facial features that you have determine your future. All right. If you have certain facial structure, certain lips, certain nose, certain eyes, it's going to determine how people are going to treat you. So when you change it to something else, it's also going to determine how people are going to treat you and how you're going to live your life. So just be careful before you do any of that. Just know. All right. I don't believe anybody's going to hell for changing the way they look. I believe it's this part. I believe it's a shame that you feel. I believe it's the guilt, the apathy, the grief, the fear. This is what's going to keep you down here in hell. All right? This is it. You can do like any of the sins that you think of, except for shirk. Yeah, shirk is going to like really mess you up. But you can do like sins, but as long as you don't feel any of this, if you don't feel the shame, the guilt, the apathy, the grief, the fear, you're not going to be in hell for it, right? Because that's just your personal struggle. It has nothing to do with anybody else. If you literally, you're the best person in the world, okay? You don't do nothing wrong. But you feel shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, you are going to go to hell. I'm so sorry. It's a frequency. It's a state of mind. If you live it up here, if you struggle and you suffer up here, you're going to struggle and suffer in the afterlife. Because of my willingness, okay? And because like I was saying, I purposely did not care about how I presented myself in the first video that I knew I was going to post. Guys, all right? Think about this. For anybody that came at me for my appearance, I know how I look. I know where I am lacking personally and like the objective like societal standards for beauty. All right? I know where I'm lacking. But I find myself so beautiful. I find every part about myself so beautiful. I prefer some angles more than others. Whatever. I like to be presented a certain way. I like to be in control of the way I am presented, okay? So short people don't look at me ever. I don't like this angle. I don't like it, alright? Tall people go off. So, yeah, I purposely went and wore that bonnet. And I purposely dressed the way I dressed. And I didn't do nothing with my appearance because I wanted to rip the band-aid off. Y'all have all that fucking ammo on me, alright? I don't give a shit. Okay, now it's only uphill for me. All good. So what did that bring me to? Acceptance. I accepted my life. I accepted me. I accepted everything. I accepted all my head, like my thoughts, my past, my future. I don't give a flying. I accept. Alhamdulillah, I say, and I still insist, I am the luckiest woman alive. Okay, I am the luckiest woman alive, and I'm going to say that every day. Okay, we're at acceptance. This brings us to reason. I think I'm pretty fucking reasonable, eh? Nice. This one is a thinker for me. Also, what the hell is going on right now? Why am I going like straight up? Do I just? No, try. Let's move over here, shall we? Okay, I'm not going to lie, guys. When I started talking about this, I was just going to talk about the frequencies. I wasn't going to relate it to every part of my life. I did not think that I actually made it to almost the top, I guess. I'm going to stop at love. I do feel joy. I guess I feel joy too. And I feel peace. But I still fluctuate. I don't know if I reach like 100% enlightenment. Am I enlightened? Am I an enlightened individual? Could somebody tell me? Because I don't want to... Alhamdulillah, I think I do feel enlightened. Because I'm just, like, I don't... Though I do fluctuate. I'm going to explain something really quickly, okay? Let's go through it. So, I think I became with reason. Pretty good. I actually started sympathizing with my enemies. And by enemies, I mean people that hurt me really badly. I sympathize with all of you motherfuckers. You know, like Kanye says, to all my cousins, I love them. Even the one that stole the laptop, you dirty motherfucker. That's me. Motherfuckers, I love you, alright? Even the ones that hurt me. Okay, I guess I became with reason. And now we're going to talk about love. Notice how high up love is. Notice how low fear is. Okay? Fear and love. It's actually really interesting to me. 1 second. It's really interesting to me that on the scale, shame is the lowest And then it's fear up here. This is level 100, the frequency, or the level of consciousness. That is actually really, really interesting to me. My assumption was that fear is the lowest one. It's literally 0. Why is... I guess because people still operate at fear. That's really interesting. Okay, let's talk about love. Remember, alpha, or hell, omega, the highest level of consciousness. Okay, the highest level. Okay, alif, lam, and mim. Okay, we're not at the top just yet, but let's get to love. Let me tell you something. When I started feeling love, the only reason why actually I managed to... I got out of hell, I got out of here, because I stopped giving a fuck what people think. And this only happened when I was forced to feel love for 2 weeks straight. I went to Colombia, and in Colombia was my best friend Danny. Him and I met on World of Warcraft when I was 15 years old, when we were both 15. And we didn't even speak the same language. We could not communicate with each other. But since I was 15, Danny, this kid that had an insane amount of love in him, literally an insane amount of love, like the guy loved the living hell out of me, okay? He really stuck around. He loved me through all my bullshit. Like, we grew together. I didn't realize that was happening, but we grew together. When I went to Colombia, I visited Danny and his girlfriend, we're all best friends. Danny and Alex, who were best friends. When I went to Colombia, I was completely fucked in the head. Completely wrecked. I was out of this abusive relationship, toxic relationship. It was fucking awful. And I did not realize why I was so obsessed. 3 years later, I did not get over that man. And I didn't realize it was literally because whoever I was with, there was something about them that I wanted for myself. Something about their character or something about their life. And he had the courage, and I was missing the audacity and the childishness. And this was in October in 2023. And when I was in Colombia, all I experienced there was the love and the nurture that I was missing since I was a child. I was treated literally like a kid by Danny and Alex. They treated me like they were my mom and my dad, subconsciously. They just had that. And it was the best experience that's ever happened to me, and I wish it upon everybody that is missing that from their family, because it's what healed me. When I came back to Canada, it's like I was a whole new fucking person. After I experienced love, all of a sudden, I was ready to face the fucking world. Right? I was out of here. Experiencing love ripped me out of survival mode. Especially, this was during October 2023, remember? October 7th, that's what happened, right? After that, everything just clicked for me. The fuck am I living in shame for? The fuck am I living in guilt for? What am I living in apathy for? What am I living in grief for? What am I living in fear for? I had nothing to fear. What is it that I desire? What am I stressed about? What am I angry about? Okay? These things all clicked, got ripped out of it. I just skyrocketed in 2 weeks. Boom. I made it up. Alhamdulillah. I was here for a second, alright? Just for a second. It was a minute, alright? I had the potential. But I kept falling back into survival mode. So what did I do? I wrote this poem after seeing what was happening in Gaza, and I was suffocating and I did not have any outlets. I wrote a poem, and I wanted everybody to hear it. When I wrote it and I read it out loud, I realized it's not enough. I want people to visualize it. I drew the poem in a book. Here. I drew it here. I bought this. Specific for it. Labels. Labels. To simplify and categorize all of our experiences, feelings, emotions, appearance. You put in a box, and you push to the side onto the next compartment. We are not labels. We are not numbers. We are only children playing pretend while our children pretend to play. For how long? Well, I don't want to play your word jumble anymore. I don't want to play along. Is that so bad? Am I bad? I stopped here. Okay? So I was like, that's not enough. While I was drawing it, I'm like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do now to get the message across to people? Now, as somebody that was a creative, like I was a creative person, and I was heavily blocked by someone that did not want me to. He was controlled by his ego, and he did not want anybody to hear me. I lived in shame and guilt and apathy and grief and fear for being an artist, because drawing is haram. So every time I picked up a pen and I drew a person, I was like, oh no, I'm going to hell. That was what I was going through my head. So needless to say, I did not pursue art. Okay, I went into something to people please. I was like, okay, let me just choose whatever the fuck that would make them happy and get the fuck off my back. They didn't get off my back, whatever. Fucked if you do, fucked if you don't, kind of thing. So when I did that, this turns out that that's a storyboard. All right, I didn't know this. I did not go into animation, did not know anything about animation. And when I wrote it out, I drew it out. All I was itching for, oh my God, I was itching and I was itching. And I started seeing an animation in my fucking head, and I've never seen an animation in my head. Like I said earlier, I've only ever seen like visualizations, like movies and shit, and like stuff I directed in my head, but I never seen animations. And I'm like, I want to animate. I want to fucking animate, but I didn't know how to animate because I didn't go into art. Again, I was graduating university in May, and I signed up for an animation program. Or sorry, it was April. I signed up for an animation program, a postgraduate animation program, 8 months. Right then and there. I got that idea. I had that drive. I had that passion for the first time in my fucking life. All I wanted to do was animate this poem. And I signed up for a postgraduate animation program. And that's it. I started it in May, right, in the next year. I had that drive. I finished my university. I did my thesis. And I went and I studied animation. And I had that drive. I just had that drive, and that drive got me here. Whoop. I was so full of fucking love. All my work was done with love. Everything I did was with love. Everything. Oh my God, I had so much love in me, guys. I was like overflowing. I was so happy. All right. I animated that poem, by the way. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so fucking proud of myself. That was really nice. That was a great job. There you go. Which brings me to the next one. Is joy. Haha. Do you see how happy I am? This is my constant state of being. This is my I don't need to explain it any further. I just feel hella fucking joy. And the thing is that children are naturally here. What happens is that they start swooping down when they start going all the way down to hell. Kids are up here, enlightenment, peace, and enlightenment. Children, because they're in the Omega, naturally, straight out of the womb, they're the closest thing to God. Straight out of the womb, kids are in the Omega. They're right here. Innocence is Omega. Okay? Kids are naturally enlightened. They're peaceful, joyful, full of love. This is why children are being destroyed. Alright? Innocence is being destroyed. This is why Israel... This is why they're trying so fucking hard to destroy them. This is why in Sudan they're trying so hard to destroy them. They want to hurt innocence. People just naturally want to hurt innocence in this world. They can't maintain it. The point of this frequency in Islam is that you maintain your innocence from childhood. Okay? Omega. You're up here. When you're a child, you're in the Omega. Right? This is where you start. You start at this is what? 700 plus? Let's just say for the sake of it, this is level 100. Right? This is 100. You would think you start down here. Hell no. Like Allah is merciful. Okay? Ar-Rahman. Alright? Rahman, you start at the Omega. He makes you start at the Omega. You just start here. You're so close to Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. You start here. Okay? Then suddenly you have all these people around you, like your parents and like your friends and your family and the music that you listen to, and everything gets you down here. This is why Allah made things haram. And this is why He gave us things to keep ourselves protected. It does not mean you protect yourself to hurt yourself. You don't. This is counterintuitive. Whatever it is you think you're doing as a Muslim that you think brings you closer to Allah, and it clearly is ripping you apart and it's making you struggle so fucking much. Clearly it's not bringing you closer to Allah. Alright? This is all you need to be doing, is just be here. If a child doesn't do it, if a child is not supposed to be doing it or whatever, you shouldn't either, alright? If it's supposed to be for you as an adult, then it's probably for your own protection outside. It does not mean you walk around and you force people to do it. Okay? It's just supposed to be you. Use your fucking logic. For example, come at me, by the way. If you are a Muslim suppose this is a scenario. You are one Muslim surrounded by 99 non-Muslims. And those non-Muslims really, really are down here, right? They're really controlled by their ego. They're in hell. They're over here. And then they see the one person, the one Muslim, who wants to just shut out society. They don't care about anybody and they just want to be close to Allah. Alright? They're in the Omega. So what do? They cover their heads and they dress modestly. And they just very different from the society that they're in. That one person out of the 99. And then they go out into the world where everybody else is here. That person is here and everybody else is here. What the fuck is going to happen to that person if they don't use their logic? Right? What's going to happen there? They're probably going to get their ass beat. They're probably going to get assaulted. God knows what else, alright? A lot of bad things going to happen to that person. All because they're following things without logic. Like, they're applying Islam without the spirituality, without the logic, without assessing the situation, without logic. Okay? It's like a rule book. It's not a rule book. You're supposed to use your logic. Use your logic. Stay safe. Keep yourself protected. Maintain your innocence. If you have to be undercover, okay? If you have to play as an actor, that's perfectly fine. Okay? You don't need to prove yourself to anybody. The whole thing behind like people like doing this and doing that just for the sake of others is fucking crazy. Like that's fucking wild. I don't ever submit to that ever. I literally I just want to follow Allah. Alright, just want to follow Allah. That's it. If a kid doesn't do it, don't do it. The only difference between us and children is sexual maturity. Okay? That's why they're innocent and we struggle with ego as adults, right? All it is a sexual maturity. It does not mean that we suddenly change as soon as we get puberty. It does not mean that. It means you're still the exact same person as you were when you were a kid. It's just that now you're able to reproduce, alright? Use it wisely. Use that shit wisely. It does not mean you go fucking crazy with it and you have to go announce it constantly to everybody in the world, or you have to announce that this happened to your body by putting an article of clothing on. I don't want that shit. I don't want anybody in around me. I don't want anybody to know. You know what? You know what happened with me? Every time people find out I'm a Muslim, okay, every time they suddenly make it their fucking business. And that's none of your business. That's none of your motherfucking business, alright? I just am. I just be. I don't care how you think I look. I don't care about anything. Everything I do is with innocence. I do everything with innocence, as most people do. The only person that is doing the haram by pointing out this and this and this is haram is your dirty ass mind. You are down here trying to fuck with people up here, okay? People that stayed innocent from their childhood. Okay? And you can tell by looking at their face, by the way. The people that get hurt the most are the ones that look innocent in the face. I'm just gonna let you know that. Okay? People in the alpha, in hell, the lowest frequency, they try to fuck with people in the omega. Okay? They point fingers at them and they're like, oh, you're haram, you're haram, you're haram. Meanwhile, they're the ones that are living in shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear. They're the ones that are living down here. And they're trying to drag everybody down, which is why they fuck with kids. That's why they keep hurting kids, because kids are in the omega too. They're up here. The kids are enlightened. Some people are enlightened. The ones that are enlightened are the ones that get the most shit. Right? I can't fucking wait to get the hell out of here. I don't want anybody to see my face ever again. But I'm like, what the fuck? This shit is so tiring. This shit is disgusting, alright? Oh my god, guys. With much love, though. Much love, alright? Glad we got that out of our system. Yeah. Joy, peace, enlightenment. Do I need to say more? I feel joy. I feel peace. I am enlightened. Alhamdulillah. Alright? Now, all I want is to just make everybody else feel the same way. But how the fuck do I do that? It's like a puzzle. So I'm just gonna ask Allah to take care of that. So Allah, like, please help me out here. Help me out. I don't want people to suffer anymore. I hate people. I hate seeing people down here. But the thing that I realized is that I keep getting people in my way, like people that I love very much, love with all my heart and soul, and I have to step away from them. Because when I was down here, nothing anybody could do could make me see up here, make me see the light. Nothing. All I saw was darkness. It was so dark, by the way, here. Straight darkness. It was literally felt dark. Like there's a cloud hanging over me. I could not see colors. It was fucking bad. Over here. This is why people stay like drug addicts. Because the only time for them to see the omega is for them to get high. For them to literally get high. You get up here. But I was living down here. Alright? And nothing people were doing, showing me love and stuff at that time when I wasn't ready for it, was making me come up here. I just accidentally fell into it. I just got lucky. I just fell into it. God took me there. God took me to my friends. They took care of me. Suddenly, boom, I was up here. I felt like the happiest child in the world in those 2 weeks as a grown-ass woman. Right? So what I realized is that when I get people that are unfortunately living here, what's going to happen? They're going to take me from that 100. They're going to fucking drag me down here. God forbid you have any sort of relationship with somebody that is in a low frequency over here and you're up here. You know what happened? I got sick. Got physically ill. Literally got sick. Literally, like my body crumbled. And like I said earlier, listen to your body, okay? Yeah, listen to the anxiety, listen to the depression, listen to everything. It hit me like a fucking truck because I've been living up here for so long now. It's been such a great time. I've been living in enlightenment. And since I've been here, everything around me changed. My whole life changed. Everything around me is just suddenly so beautiful. And everybody around me is so beautiful. All I see is love everywhere. All I see. Okay, I don't see this shit anymore. Hell no. Alright, I wipe my hands clean of that. Goodbye. Good fucking bye. But if you are up here, you gotta be careful. I had like a little social experiment recently. I was grateful for my body's reaction. And I decided I need to send my message out in a way that is more safe for me. The same way most artists do. And it's by making music and making art. This is not done yet, but this painting was the start. It's like the last puzzle piece. This is the last. Maybe that's what I should call it. This is the last puzzle piece to. I think this is gonna be. This is my symbol of freedom. This is resistance. I made this painting when I was at rock bottom, and my sister saved me. And this started off as just a drawing I did off a couch that she had a pattern on her couch. And because of this apparently awakened a friend of mine. And I recently started making a bigger version of it for him. But then when I saw it, I was like, you know what? I deserve this. Right? Yo, fuck you. I deserve this, okay? Because I put all my heart, all my life, all my experiences are depicted in this painting. Okay? My teenagehood. Okay? I was 23 years old over here. Oh, sorry, this was 21. This is 23. This is now. Okay? And the whole fish, all of it, ties into all my beliefs. I don't know how to explain, but this is a symbol of my resistance to the oppressors. Y'all can go fuck yourselves. You try and bring me down, you try and bring my sister down, you try to bring us down. Palestinians are hella fucking resistant, man. Yeah. It's like, we throw fuck yous all around. You can't get us. Can't get literally indestructible. I'm doing this for you, babes. Like, I don't know. Wow, that was like a big ass sneeze. I think I talked for 3 hours, 4 hours straight. I'm going to get my message across one way or the other. Bear witness. Bear witness. And I want the same for everybody. The thing is that I have a friendly competition with all of you, whoever you are. Okay, get out of here. I don't want to see any of you down here. The way for you to free Gaza and free Sudan and free Syria, free Iraq, free all of us is for you, especially you guys who escaped, those the countries where they have this frequency the most, which is forced, by the way. Like, people are forced to live here. The only way is for you to just stop caring about other people, stop caring what they think. Nothing anybody thinks about you has an impact on you. Nothing. Okay, when you get out, you'll understand that there's people that are being forced to live down here, and you're consciously choosing to live down here in the alpha when you can actually be in the omega. You are oppressing yourself. You are living, how do you say, in Stockholm syndrome. You are in Stockholm syndrome to the pain, and you are enjoying the shame, the guilt, the apathy, the grief, the fear. The people that are living in hell are watching the videos of people getting unalived in Sudan and Gaza, and they don't want to do anything about it because actually they're subconsciously getting off on it, and they don't want to admit. Like I said, the videos that we see day to day on IG, they are ones that people would go to the dark web, or they would go to Live Leak. They would go to like really fucked up places to watch them. It's just now, it's just very open and to the public. I have seen more people die than I ever imagine. I never saw that I see anybody die in my life. Nobody. I never ever conceptualized that ever. But in the past 2 years, or the first year, let's just say, when I was watching people be unalived in a massive, I went into complete shock. So much shock that it put me in overdrive. And I needed to help. I needed to do something. And it was the only thing that got me out of depression. It was the only thing. After that, and I kept watching the videos, and I was like, what the fuck? Why am I desensitized to this? I got so desensitized to seeing people being blown up and being unalived, and people torn apart, literally torn apart, shot in the head, completely assaulted, sexually, everything. I've seen it all. And I don't want to see it. And then I realized I'm just desensitized to it so much. It's so disrespectful for me to keep watching and not do anything. Even though I was doing something, it was so disrespectful for me to keep watching. And I had to put myself in a bubble and stop watching these things. I still talked about it quite often. And my anger was already out. I was not screaming about it anymore to people that can't do anything about it, they're living down here too. They don't even conceptualize the level of fucking horror that other people are living in. Stop crying about it to strangers. And I put myself on a fucking mission, okay? Get myself out of here. Okay, get myself out of here. Get somewhere, alright? Alhamdulillah. And I did. And I'm telling you to do the same. Is that stop being so desensitized to gore. What triggered me was watching people eat. I was watching people eat while watching others lose their lives and get unalived. Every day I was watching this happen, and then I started noticing, I'm like, oh, this is insanity. I am literally watching people live in insanity and they're not noticing. I was the only one that was self-critical enough to realize that there's something fucking wrong with me for me to be experiencing this and seeing this and actually feel desensitized to it. But actually eating food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner while watching these videos, now that was a whole other level of fucked up for me. Because in the beginning, it hurts a lot. You can't eat. When you see these things happen, you can't eat anymore. If you're empathetic, you can't eat. But after a while, you'll start to feel, obviously, your body starts fighting. You have to start eating again. And you start feeling ashamed for eating. You start feeling guilty. Okay? That you have food and they don't. So suddenly you're back down here. And I did not want to keep living in fear anymore. And that means I can't give a single flying fuck about what any of you think about me. I don't categorize myself in the same category as criminals as mentioned in the Quran. I don't categorize myself as a criminal. I don't think I've like violated anybody's rights or unalived anybody. I'm not a criminal. So I'm not going to be claiming this frequency anymore. I'm going to insist that I am up here. All I'm saying is it's up to you to do that too. But in the end, you can't pray and assume that your prayers they're not coming true, they're not being accepted. Because they are. It's just that you are choosing constantly to stay here. Allah is giving you lessons for you to learn and move up. But most people reject the lessons and they stay down here. Every day there's a lesson. There's an opportunity for you to be saved. Every day. It means going into the dark for a little bit. Like literally, like walk into the dark. That's trusting God. It's walking in the dark. You don't know where you're going, but He's going to get you out of there. I had to go through a lot to get out. Depending on how deep your family struggle was and your family trauma, so do you. But let me tell you something. The more fucked up it is, the greater the reward. So get cracking. It's not worth it to stay down here, boys and girls. Alif Lam Mim. This is my interpretation of Alif, Lam, and Mim. Okay. There you go. You got this, guys. I believe in you. I did it. So can you. Right. Bye.